In the small, wind-swept town of Millbrook, where gray skies often hung low and hope seemed as rare as sunshine, lived Emma Whitmore. The world had not been kind to her family. Her father, once a proud factory worker, now sat in a worn armchair, his spirit broken by unemployment and lost dreams. Emma was 22, with hands that told stories of endless work and a heart that carried the weight of her family's survival. Every morning before the town fully awakened, she would rise. Her tiny bedroom, shared with her younger brother Tom, was small but meticulously clean. Faded photographs of happier times hung on the walls, memories of a life before financial struggles consumed their world. The bakery where Emma worked was just 2 blocks from her family's small cottage. Mrs. Henderson, the kind-hearted owner, always gave her extra bread, a silent understanding of the struggles Emma faced. "Take these for your family," she would say, wrapping day-old loaves that became their lifeline. At night, Emma transformed into a cleaner at the community center. While others slept, she mopped floors, organized spaces, and watched the town through large windows. Her brother Tom would be studying by a small lamp, his textbooks spread across their worn kitchen table. He was determined to be the one who would change their family's fortune. Their mother, Sarah, battled a chronic illness that drained their limited resources. Medical bills piled up like unwelcome guests, each envelope a reminder of their fragile existence. Emma would look at her mother's tired eyes and make silent promises. Promises of hope, of better days. Money was always tight. Some nights, dinner, was nothing more than bread and weak tea. But Emma never complained. She knew complaining would not put food on the table or pay their mounting bills. Instead, she worked harder, smiled brighter, and kept her dreams alive. The town of Millbrook was like many small communities. Everyone knew everyone, and secrets were rare. Some neighbors whispered about the Whitmores, about their struggles, but Emma held her head high. She understood that dignity cost nothing, and hope was a choice one made every single day. Tom was different from most teenagers. While his friends spent money on video games and movies, he took extra shifts at the local grocery store. Every penny he earned went into a small tin box hidden beneath his bed. Their family's hope chest. Emma's nursing dream seemed impossible. University fees were like distant mountains, beautiful but unreachable. Yet she collected brochures, studied during her breaks, and listened to medical podcasts whenever she could. Her passion for helping others burned brighter than their financial limitations. The community center where she worked became her second home. She knew every corner, every piece of furniture. Late at night, when silence embraced the building, Emma would practice medical terminology, using cleaning materials as her imaginary medical tools. Her father, once a robust man, now carried the weight of failure. Unemployment had stolen more than his job. It had stolen his confidence. But when he looked at Emma, something shifted in his eyes. Pride, perhaps, or hope. Winter in Millbrook was unforgiving. Cold winds swept through their poorly insulated cottage, and heating was a luxury they could rarely afford. Emma would knit extra blankets, seal windows with plastic, and ensure her family stayed warm. Her world was small, but meaningful. Each day was a battle, each smile a victory. She understood that life was not about waiting for the storm to pass, but learning to dance in the rain. As dawn broke, casting soft light through their kitchen window, Emma would prepare for another day. Her uniform pressed, her spirit unbroken. She represented something more than just a young woman working multiple jobs. She represented resilience, hope, and the unbreakable spirit of those who refuse to be defined by their circumstances. The town of Millbrook might have seen her as just another struggling young woman, but Emma knew she was so much more. She was a daughter, a sister, a dreamer, and most importantly, a beacon of hope for her family. Her journey was just beginning, and though the path was uncertain, her determination was unwavering. The end note. This version is approximately 800 words, written in third-person perspective, using simple and basic English, focusing on Emma's struggles and hopes in a relatable, Emotional narrative. The community center stood like an old guardian in Millbrook, its brick walls holding countless stories. Richard Parker arrived one Monday morning, bringing with him a sense of quiet change that nobody expected. As the new manager, he moved differently, not like previous administrators who came and went without making any real difference. Emma continued her nightly cleaning routine, unaware that her life was about to change. Her hands moved methodically across the floors, her mind constantly drifting between medical brochures and family worries. Richard would often watch her work, noticing something special in her determined movements. One particularly cold evening, Richard approached Emma during her cleaning shift. She expected another instruction or complaint, but his words surprised her. "You work incredibly hard," he said, his voice kind and observant. Emma simply nodded, used to keeping conversations short and professional. Richard had been a social worker for many years before taking this management role. He understood struggle, not just from professional experience but from personal history. His own sister had worked multiple jobs to support her family, much like Emma was doing now. During the next few weeks, Richard began paying closer attention to Emma. He noticed how meticulously she organized spaces, how she went beyond her job description. Her dedication was rare, and he recognized potential that Emma herself hadn't yet seen. One night, after everyone had left the community center, Richard invited Emma to sit and talk. Reluctant, but curious, she accepted. He asked about her dreams, her challenges. For the first time, Emma shared her nursing ambition, something she rarely discussed, fearing it might sound impossible. Richard listened carefully. He understood that dreams weren't just about money, but about believing in oneself. He knew the educational system often overlooked brilliant students from challenging backgrounds. Emma represented exactly those individuals, talented, hardworking, but lacking opportunity. "I might be able to help," Richard said, pulling out some scholarship recommendation forms. Emma's hands trembled as he explained a partial scholarship opportunity for community workers pursuing healthcare professions. The recommendation would require more than just filling out paperwork. It would need detailed explanations of her work, ethic, her family situation, and her extraordinary commitment. Richard saw beyond the surface. He saw a young woman whose determination could transform not just her life, but potentially her entire community. Emma's family background was complicated. Her father's unemployment, her mother's illness, her brother's educational aspirations, all of these painted a picture of resilience. Richard understood that supporting Emma wasn't just about helping an individual, but potentially lifting an entire family. During their conversations, Emma learned that Richard had similar experiences growing up. His family had faced economic challenges, and education became his pathway to change. He saw his younger self in Emma, hungry for knowledge, limited by circumstances, but never defeated. The scholarship recommendation wasn't guaranteed, but it represented hope. Richard explained each step carefully, ensuring Emma understood the process. He helped her gather documents, write compelling personal statements, and believe in her own potential. Tom, Emma's brother, was initially skeptical. How could one recommendation change their entire family's trajectory? But as he watched his sister work with Richard, carefully preparing her application, he began to understand that opportunities often arrive disguised as hard work and unexpected friendships. Richard never presented himself as a savior. He was simply someone who recognized potential and was willing to extend a helping hand. His approach was gentle, understanding that true support meant empowering, not rescuing. As weeks passed, the scholarship recommendation took shape. Each document represented more than paper. It represented hope, possibility, and the belief that background should never determine one's future. Emma continued her cleaning and bakery work, but something had changed. Her eyes now held a different spark, the spark of possibility. Richard had done more than offer a potential scholarship. He had shown her that her dreams were valid and achievable. The community center, once just a workplace, now felt different. It was a place of unexpected connections where ordinary moments could transform extraordinary lives. The end note. This version maintains the 800-word count, uses simple English, is written in third-person perspective, and focuses on the unexpected, friendship between Emma and Richard, highlighting themes of hope, opportunity, and personal growth. The nursing school application seemed like a mountain Emma had never imagined climbing. Every form represented a challenge, every requirement a potential roadblock. Her family's financial situation hung over her like a heavy cloud, threatening to darken her dreams. Tom understood the pressure more than anyone. At just 18, he took extra shifts at Miller's grocery store, working long hours that stretched beyond typical teenage experiences. His dedication became a silent promise to his sister, a commitment to help her succeed where their family had always struggled. Emma's study routine became a delicate dance of survival and ambition. Mornings began before sunrise, with her working at the bakery, then rushing to clean the community center and finally finding precious hours to study. Her textbooks were often borrowed, marked with previous students' notes, each page a testament to her resourcefulness. The nursing school entrance exam loomed like an impossible challenge. Emma knew her competition would be students from privileged backgrounds, those with private tutors and uninterrupted study time. Her preparation happened in stolen moments, during lunch breaks, on bus rides, and late into the night when the rest of her family slept. Margaret Williams, a senior nurse at the local clinic, became an unexpected mentor. She noticed Emma's determination during a community health workshop. "Talent isn't about having everything," Margaret would say. "It's about making the most of what you have." Financial barriers seemed insurmountable. Each textbook cost more than a week's grocery budget. Emma learned to photocopy chapters, share resources with classmates, and create study groups that pooled their limited materials. Her creativity became her greatest asset. Her mother's ongoing medical treatments added another layer of complexity. Medical bills continued to stack up, and Emma felt the weight of her family's hopes pressing down on her shoulders. Some nights, she would sit by her mother's bed, studying by a dim lamp, holding her mother's hand and promising a better future. The community center became more than just a workplace. Richard Parker continued to support Emma, helping her navigate scholarship applications and providing guidance. He understood that breaking barriers wasn't just about individual effort, but about finding support in unexpected places. Tom's role became crucial. He managed household expenses, ensured their mother's medications were covered, and supported Emma's studies. His sacrifice was silent but profound. Every extra hour he worked meant one more chance for Emma to focus on her dreams. Nursing school interviews were intimidating. Emma's hands would shake, her background feeling like a vulnerable point. But Margaret's coaching helped her transform her struggles into strengths. "Your story is your power," she would remind Emma. The application process revealed multiple challenges. Some forms required fees that seemed impossible. Others needed recommendation letters that seemed out of reach. But Emma refused to be defeated. She wrote heartfelt letters, explained her circumstances, and showed a determination that surprised even herself. Local community members began to notice her journey. Mrs. Henderson from the bakery would slip her extra bread. The grocery store manager would adjust Tom's shifts to support Emma's study schedule. Small acts of kindness became their community's way of supporting her dream. Financial aid applications became another battle. Emma learned to navigate complex forms, understand bureaucratic language, and advocate for herself. Each rejection became a learning opportunity, each challenge a chance to grow stronger. Her father, once defeated by unemployment, found a new sense of pride. He might not have understood all the medical terms Emma studied, but he recognized the courage in her pursuit. His quiet support became a powerful motivator. The nursing school entrance exam arrived like a final challenge. Emma approached it with a mixture of fear and hope. Her preparation wasn't just about academic knowledge, but about proving that circumstances do not define potential. As she filled out the exam, Emma thought about her family, her community, and the countless individuals who had believed in her. Each question represented more than just a test. It represented a pathway to transformation. Her journey was never just about becoming a nurse. It was about breaking cycles of limitation, proving that dreams could emerge from the most challenging circumstances. The end note. This version maintains the 800-word count, uses simple English, is written in third-person perspective, and focuses on Emma's challenges in pursuing her nursing education, highlighting themes of resilience, family support, and overcoming financial barriers. The hospital corridors hummed with quiet intensity. Emma walked among patients, her nursing uniform crisp, her heart beating with a mixture of nervousness and determination. Her internship had begun, and every moment felt like a test of everything she had fought to achieve. Mrs. Elizabeth Carter lay in bed 7, her breathing shallow, her story etched into the lines of her weathered face. She reminded Emma of her own mother, vulnerable, fighting a battle against illness that seemed bigger than herself. The elderly woman had been admitted with a complex respiratory condition that challenged even the most experienced medical staff. During her initial assessment, Emma noticed something the other nurses had missed. A subtle change in Mrs. Carter's breathing pattern suggested a developing complication. Where others saw a routine case, Emma saw a human story waiting to be understood. Margaret Williams, her senior mentor, watched Emma carefully. She recognized something special in the young nurse, a combination of technical skill and deep human compassion that couldn't be taught in textbooks. "Listen to the patient, not just the machines," Margaret would often say. Emma took these words as her professional mantra. That night, Emma's careful observation saved Mrs. Carter's life. The subtle breathing changes she had noticed earlier indicated a developing lung complication. Her quick intervention and precise medical response prevented what could have been a fatal situation. The hospital staff were impressed. Dr. Robert Harrison, the head of the medical department, called Emma into his office. Her hands trembled, expecting criticism. Instead, he offered praise. "Not many young nurses would have caught that so early," he said, his voice warm with appreciation. Emma realized this was more than just a compliment. It was recognition of her potential. Tom came to visit her that evening, bringing a home-cooked meal from their mother. His eyes sparkled with pride. "You're changing our family's story," he said, understanding the significance of her achievement. Her patient, Mrs. Carter, became more than just a medical case. During her recovery, she shared stories of her life, a tapestry of experiences that reminded Emma why she had chosen nursing. The elderly woman spoke of her own struggles, her family, her hopes. The hospital became a place of transformation. Emma learned that nursing was about healing souls, not just treating bodies. Each patient carried a unique story, and she was privileged to be part of their journey. Financial challenges hadn't disappeared. Her family still struggled, but now there was hope. Emma's internship came with a small stipend, which she carefully managed. Every penny counted, every opportunity mattered. Margaret continued to mentor her, seeing potential that went beyond technical medical skills. "Compassion is your greatest medical tool," she would remind Emma. These words became a guiding principle in her approach to patient care. Dr. Harrison recommended Emma for a special community healthcare program. It was an opportunity that could change not just her career, but potentially help her entire community. The program focused on providing healthcare in underserved areas, exactly the kind of work Emma had always dreamed of doing. Her brother Tom continued supporting the family. His engineering studies were progressing, and he had started freelance programming work. Their mother's health was improving, partly due to better medical understanding and Emma's professional care. The turning point was not just a single moment, but a series of choices. Emma's decision to see beyond medical charts, to listen to patients' stories, to bring compassion into healthcare. These were the real transformations. During her night shifts, Emma would often think about her journey. From cleaning floors at the community center to saving lives in the hospital, her path had been anything but straight. But each challenge had prepared her for this moment. Mrs. Carter recovered fully. Before leaving the hospital, she hugged Emma, whispering, "You're not just a nurse, you're a healer." Those words meant more than any professional achievement. As dawn broke, casting soft light through the hospital windows, Emma realized her dream was no longer just a distant hope. It was her reality. She had become the change she had always wanted to see. The endnote. This version maintains the 800-word count, uses simple English, is written in third-person perspective, and focuses on Emma's professional breakthrough during her nursing internship, highlighting themes of compassion, resilience, and personal growth. 3 years had passed since Emma first stepped into the nursing profession. The small medical clinic she established in Millbrook stood as a testament to her unwavering determination, a beacon of hope for those who once felt forgotten by the healthcare system. Her family's transformation was nothing short of miraculous. Tom had completed his engineering degree, now working for a technology company in the city. Their father, once defeated by unemployment, had found part-time work as a community center maintenance worker, his spirit renewed by his children's success. The clinic was more than just a medical facility. It was a lifeline for families struggling with limited healthcare access. Emma understood poverty's impact on health better than anyone. She remembered her own family's struggles and designed the clinic to be different, compassionate, affordable, and welcoming. Every Saturday morning, the clinic offered free health checkups for low-income families. Emma worked alongside 2 other nurses, creating a warm environment where patients felt heard and cared for. Her approach was simple: treat each patient like family. Richard Parker, who had first recognized her potential, now sat on the clinic's advisory board. His guidance had been instrumental in establishing the facility. During the opening ceremony, he spoke about Emma's journey, a story of resilience that inspired the entire community. Margaret Williams, her mentor, stood proudly beside Emma. "You've done more than become a nurse," she said, her eyes glistening with emotion. "You've become a community transformer." The clinic's impact went beyond medical treatment. Emma created support groups for families facing chronic illnesses. She organized health education workshops, teaching prevention and basic medical care. Her own experience of struggling with medical expenses drove her to make healthcare more accessible. Tom's technological skills helped modernize the clinic. He developed a simple online booking system and helped create digital health records. The siblings' collaboration demonstrated how education and determination could change entire community systems. Their mother, now healthier, became a volunteer at the clinic. She greeted patients, made tea, and provided a comforting presence. Her journey from a chronically ill patient to a supportive community member was itself a powerful healing story. Local businesses began supporting the clinic. Miller's grocery store provided healthy food packages for patients. The community center offered space for additional health workshops. What had started as Emma's personal dream became a collective community effort. Financial challenges hadn't disappeared completely, but Emma had learned to navigate them with grace and creativity. Grant applications, community fundraising, and strategic partnerships kept the clinic running. Each challenge became an opportunity for growth. Emma's approach to healthcare was holistic. She understood that healing wasn't just about treating symptoms, but addressing root causes. Nutrition workshops, mental health support, and preventive care became core components of her medical philosophy. The local council recognized her efforts. Emma received a community leadership award, but she remained humble. "This isn't about me," she would say. "It's about what we can do together." Young nursing students started seeking internships at her clinic. Emma became a mentor, sharing her journey and inspiring a new generation of compassionate healthcare workers. She understood the power of guidance, remembering how Margaret and Richard had supported her. On the clinic's first anniversary, the entire town gathered to celebrate. Patients shared stories of transformation. Families spoke about how accessible healthcare had changed their lives. Emma stood quietly, overwhelmed by the community's support. Her journey from a young woman cleaning floors to a respected community healthcare leader seemed almost unbelievable. But those who knew her understood that her success was built on hard work, compassion, and an unbreakable spirit. Richard Parker, watching the celebration, remembered the young woman he had first noticed, cleaning the community center. Some people don't just change their lives, he would later say, they change entire communities. As evening descended on Millbrook, Emma looked at the clinic, a physical representation of hope, resilience, and the power of believing in oneself. Her story was more than a personal triumph. It was a beacon of possibility for everyone who dared to dream. The small medical clinic stood as proof that with determination, compassion, and community support, one person could indeed make a significant difference. The end note. This version maintains the 800-word count, uses simple English, is written in third-person perspective, and focuses on Emma's ultimate triumph, establishing a community medical clinic that transforms lives, highlighting themes of resilience, community support, and personal growth.